Let me share the book. Of course, it's not here. Look into here. So let's just start with a quick prayer. Master Jesus, spiritual friends, we are here starting another Saturday study. Be with us, giving us the right intuition, promoting our ability to question ourselves on whatever we discuss through, allowing us to absorb the information the best as we can to help ourselves and others when the time has come. Be with us today and always. So be it.
So be it.
Let me try to... Just as information, today I cannot see who is in the room. So if there is any hand that I cannot see, please speak loudly about it. Otherwise, I will not be able to see. Okay. So today we're starting on the item 16. Does the animated table act with intelligence? Does it think? The object itself does not think. It is like a walking stick that you might use to make an intelligence signal to someone. The vitality that animated enables it to obey the impulse of the intelligence behind it. You should realize that the moving table does not become a spirit, and it has neither thought nor will. We frequently use similar expressions in everyday language concerning a wheel that is spinning rapidly. We say that it is animated by a rapid movement. Any phenomena like we describe here on the table, or poltergeist or anything like that, things that are moving and creating noise, they are not intelligent. They are under the influence of the fluids donated by a medium and the will of one person or spirit. What is the preponderant cause in the production of this phenomenon? The spirit itself or the fluid? Hi, Patricia.
If you allow me to tell a quick story, and it's a real thing. My sister with her kids, and they were young, my daughter was young, and they came to the UK to visit. I think it was 2011. And we went to Edinburgh for them to see some places. And there was a hidden thing, underground. And we paid for that tour and we went, and the guy said it was very dark inside, and he told about several difficult things that happened and people died in there, etc. And then he said at the end, when you go home, something will happen for some of you. And then can you come back and write in the review what happened? Anyway, I thought, oh God, this is so bonkers. So we went, and we were in um We had rented like a small flat with a few bedrooms, etc. And I was sleeping in the sofa in the living room, sofa bed with my daughter. And during the middle of night, the radio turned itself on and music started playing. So then I turned that off and I put the light on and I slept with the light on. In the morning, when I was talking to my sister, she said, wow, she said that it has happened to her in the past in her house. This used to happen, like all the time, television and things turning on. And she had to ask some people to come and do the gospel in her house. And then at some point, it stopped. And I thought, so if this happened now, it's because of one of your child, one of your children, probably. So I don't know if that we don't know, and it's not possible to know. We can only speculate if there was because if a spirit came with us from that tour, and if one of the children was donating some kind of ectoplasm. I don't know.
Okay, let's dissecate that a bit. You said that your sister used to have this phenomenon in her place, right?
Yes, that's what she told me. Yeah, because I
Okay,
had left Brazil already.
okay. And your sister, she was with you in the rental flat.
Yes, she came with her kids to visit. Yeah.
Okay. Does the phenomena occur in her sister place before she had kids or only after she had kids?
No, never. Yeah. When we lived, we were all growing up and everything. No, it didn't happen.
Okay. So why I'm making questions like that? Because we all should make questions when we are facing any possible phenomena, right? I could make another 10, 20 questions here, but I don't want to go that deep. Let's start talking about mediumship. Mediumship may and can be developed. It's not because you are 15 years old and you don't have any symptom around you that you will not have when you are 30, when you are 40, or even when you are 70, 80. Mediumship can appear and if be evolved over the years. Okay? So then is a normal thought. Well, when I was up to that age, nothing happens. Only now that I'm a mom is happening. It's a normal thought. But when you go through a process of giving birth, be pregnant, all this sort of thing, things in your body also change. I think we all agree with that. So that could be a start point to your mediumship to come to light. Could be the kid. Yes, could be the kid. Could be the kid. Now let's go to what the person on this tour said to people that were there, that people may have gone home and feel things. I'm pretty sure some people were impressed about what he said. Some people were afraid even about what he said. And that is something that also can create something because the thought is able to create a lot of things, right? I think it's very unlikely if you had 100 people in that day doing that visit that 50% of people had some phenomena. Unlikely. I would be more inclined to accept that if one, two may had something, because between those 100 people doing the tour, a couple of them were mediums, even without knowing it. That would be possible. How can we find out if it is, if it's not? We need to study. We need to go to practice. We need to be open to the possibility that we are mediums. And from there, without rush, come to a conclusion and possibly in a couple of years. Nothing you can have an answer like that. Right. You were there. You are also medium. would be you the epicenter of the phenomena?
You know, Guilherme, you just made me think because here, sometimes the TV turns itself on, but I think it's the cat that steps on the control. So I always blame the cat, but sometimes it does happen.
Poor, poor animal being blamed about something. But we must eliminate all the possible factors before we start to consider anything else. That will be the safest way to eliminate what is not true, what is product of our mind, what is product of a wind, what is product of anything else. So we need to eliminate slowly all the other possibilities. So then we can consider the possible influence of the spirit in the phenomena. And I do have experiences of things that after evaluating, I could not find any reason other than be external. And this is not an uncommon thing. We all are surrounded by spirits. We all have fluid. We all have ectoplasm. And again, we are all surrounded by lots of spirits. So I do not need to be an ostensive medium to be donating fluids. So it is a real possibility, but again, we have to eliminate any other possible cause. And I would not scare the kids. Otherwise, instead of helping a possible medium to come alight, you will be blocking them.
Sure.
And then they will never
No,
be prepared to hear anything about it.
no, we never said anything to them. No.
Yeah, but when the person on the tour speaks about that in front of everyone, he's already scaring the kids. And that's part of the business too, right? Because I'm pretty sure he possibly sells as a one thing to attract the people. Because when you come back, you report to me. Well, I don't remember going to a tourist place many times just to report things I saw in the past, you know. So you have to bring into your evaluation all sort of questions before you go on. But even if it's true that you had a spirit on this flat, switching on TV, radio, whatever, using fluids of a medium in this place or next door, this is normal. This is common. Understanding how the phenomena is produced eliminates the wonder of what is happening. And as such, you will not fear, you know. It's very normal someone to fear the spirits when they don't know what a spirit is, how it works, how a communication works, how a phenomena can be produced. But as soon as you acquire this kind of knowledge, normally you will lose the fear. You become more open, even to participate in things like that. Hi, Liz.
Hi, everyone. I think regarding, what that guy said on the tour, we shouldn't underestimate the power of autosuggestion either. I'm currently studying and following a program that the CIA and the criminal cabal have been doing since the 1960s with the Stargate program, and how there are so many so-called gifted schools in America, maybe in other countries as well, where they cream off the top stream of psychic children and move them into schools, particularly to train them, but use these skills and mediumship abilities for nefarious purposes. They give them a spiritual mentor, which is actually a handler. And they hypnotize them and trigger them to do, awful things. So we also need to be aware that the CIA and people like that have known about mediumship capabilities for eons, but they use it and manipulate it for nefarious purposes too. So if you have any gifted children, please be careful.
I don't even go that far thinking about CIA or any other governmental institution using possible abilities of kids or even adults. I would open your cell phone and look into Facebook, Instagram. It's exactly the same.
It is, absolutely. And it's all part of the leading into the transhumanism. Everything is under surveillance now as well. And if you rail against it in any way, you're labeled a domestic terrorist. So it's everything against God.
And I was thinking a bit different. I was thinking in the way that thoughts and energies can be manipulated with words, with videos, with even musics.
They do.
For example, we know nowadays we have a certain president that's very popular across every single media, newspapers, etc. And there's a lot of people profiting from this situation to create an atmosphere of fear. The atmosphere of fear creates a dense environment around us, in our homes, in our cities, in our institutions, and that gives power to those spirits that can manipulate those dense thoughts, those dense energies.
Yeah.
So, and something that sometimes is a bit shocking is that knowing that what we know in the spiritists, they go blindly into the cloud and they are part of it, become part of it, promoting, discussing, and we're supposed to do the opposite to compensate what is happening, but no, we're all in fear. Europe will be in a war very soon. We're going to have a war between continents. What we are doing when we think like that? Is it a possibility? Yes, it is. Always been a possibility. Because we are human beings, we are greedy, we know all of this. But why am I resonating and adding my energy into this pool of darkness, if I may say like that, to help the dark side of the force? Why am I part of it? Why am I choosing to be part of it? Yeah, it is there. Nowadays, I don't even switch on the TV, for example, because there is a single channel that you open when you see some news, you don't see something negative on that direction. Let's go back a couple of years, only a couple of years, when the world was afraid of dying of COVID. Part of people had serious mental problems, health problems related to the mental activity because of what we were watching all day. We were afraid to go out. We were afraid we become afraid about everything. And sometimes it has been boosted, and it was well done by the media, bringing one catastrophe after another. And we jump into this. It was very difficult to break the pattern at the time. I realized that.
It's important to know that throughout the Bible, there is so much proof of God's laws as opposed to state laws. And I've got Genesis here, number 50, on the third revelation. And it's here, where Kardec said, the third revelation comes at an epoch of emancipation and of intellectual maturity, where developed intelligence cannot agree to play a passive role, where man accepts nothing blindly. It's our responsibility to know what is going on. And also, spirits teach us only that which is necessary to put us in the way of truth, but they abstain from revealing to man that which he can discover by himself, leaving him the care of discussing, controlling, and submitting all to the crucible of reason, or leaving him often to learn the lesson at his own expense. So I think that's the crux of the matter here. You know, you have to have your eyes and ears wide open so you cannot be led astray, and always know that there are God's laws, not state laws.
I agree partially with that, because become aware, we want to become more aware and more again. I want to know more, and then we are part of the system. We are there, vibrating, resonating with that.
We have to.
Can you do anything to prevent something in a national scale? I'm not saying world scale, I'm saying a national scale. Can you do anything to prevent it?
I'm doing so at the moment. Yeah, I'm extracting myself from the state system and taking myself off the electoral roll, and also not subjecting myself to a birth certificate that is only a copy. It's not real. It's a delusion, illusion. So yeah, you need to know these things. And yes, you can oppose the state and nationally.
You're going a different direction than I thought.
Yeah.
And
I
cannot interfere in any national decision because I am not part of the decision. So any decision that may come true, I will have to live with that and do the best I can to minimize any effect, to improve myself or those that are around me, because I will not be able to interfere with that. But what I can do, the only thing that I see that I can do is not resonate with that vibration and emit a vibration in a different length wave to compensate those energies. How can I do that? With good thoughts, with prayer, and then good work, good deeds, like we do here when we do mediumship meetings. We are kind of trying to bring a balance. Because today I have something in that intensity, and the other side, nothing. That intensity you cannot ignore. Something will happen. And we have books bringing that quite well described to us. But if I compensate things, it's what I can do.
But we're not helpless. We have autonomy, and God gave us that. And, you know, we use our intelligence and our knowledge wisely. And it's in that doing that we're raising that frequency by not accepting. Otherwise, that's preordained, it's predestined. And I don't believe in that kind of fate, you know, to accept that.
It is a personal point of view. Like I have my own, like everybody here has a different point of view. But when we talk about energy, we're talking about science. When we talk about vibration, resonance, we talk about science. And then is a different thing. But yes, there's no right or wrong. It's just a matter of not jumping into the dark side without realizing that we all have the power to compensate that dense energy. We just need to practice it. We just need to learn how to use it.
Ultimately, it's a choice.
Indeed, indeed. And I think I mentioned here before, or over the years, I don't remember anymore, but during COVID, I was in a situation that was pretty bad. And in that day that was really, really bad, one spirit that we are familiar to work with came to us and said, it's amazing what our thoughts can do. He said only that.
That in itself is autosuggestion to ourselves.
It is. It can be an auto-suggestion, or can be an explanation of why you are like that. What I know is that from that point onwards, all the symptoms I was having became under control, and that was over. And that was extended for a month. that scenario that was not great. And after one explanation, or watch out what you're doing to yourself, you are creating that to yourself. And oops, and then was gone because of fear. And the fear was very present at the time. What is the preponderant cause in the production of this phenomenon? I have another hand, but oh, Camila, hi.
Hi, I just would like to supplement what you said about the thoughts, right? Because when I think about that, if we go in a doctor, a mind doctor, right? They look for us and they know if we have depression, if we have anxiety, whatever we have, right? So for me, that is a simple example, a proof of how strong is the effect in our body, in our physical body, our thoughts, right? Or when I cross in front of that Betty Games stores and I saw the people that is addicted, their physical shows like a drug addicts, but they don't have drugs, they don't have chemicals. It's only the 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 mind, the compulsion in the game, right? That is similar. And for me, is how I can say is very impressive, right? Because how powerful is is the action of our feeling, our thoughts, that it can affect us in the body.
Our physical body is our temple. How we take care of our temple is the key. We can do the proper maintenance of our temple, and we can last longer in health, in quality, and things like that. But if you do not, the opposite is also true. And our thoughts are one of the main springs of this machine. Because people that are very negative people that are thinking only about bad things, people that are only thinking about vices, that will reflect not only on the spirit, but on the body, if we like or not. So yeah, good point.
May I ask you, Guilherme, can be a form, a kind of a trance, the type of trance, people react different in mediumship on the table, for example, with a table. I think
I'm
can
not
be a
following you.
trance,
I'm not
a
following
type
you.
of trance.
Can you make the question in different words so that I can try to understand? Rosalie?
If you understood, Camila said, as she observed, is a different reaction of a medium in the experience with a table, maybe. I think if I understood, Camila. So, and
Camila, can you help me out?
I think, yes, I think too.
What I said, what I shared is like I don't know is the heavy. I don't know if in the country that you live has that. In Brazil doesn't have it because it's illegal. Has other things, right? But here has many bet games, like places that you go there and you do a bet. You say it has horses or things like that. You bet to win a game. That is fine, but if you pass in front of, at least me, I felt the energy. That is one thing. But the other thing that I was saying is like if you see the people the addicted ones, physically, for me at least, in my humble opinion, they show very similar someone that is addicted to drugs, right? The same deterioration, external deterioration of the body, right? The face, the be tired, the eyes, the physical characteristics. Like so, and they don't use the drugs, right? One use the drugs, okay, it's chemical. You know that it has a chemical reagent there that is affecting the body. But in the other, at least for me, it is my humble opinion. Maybe not everybody agree. When I look, I felt very similar deterioration, very similar symptoms, let's say like that. And it doesn't have drugs, doesn't have the chemical part, it has only the mind, right? Because it's a game, it's a compulsion, right? You are sick because you are so your life is go there and you put your money there, like is a you cannot do other thing, right? So it's like the person that uses drugs, it's more strong for her use the drugs than don't use, right? It's too powerful, the need to do that. So I think when I analyze both, is the mind, is the compulsion, is the feeling of the person that it affected the body, right? How
We,
powerful is the mind? That is,
we,
for me, is approved.
we have
No,
to
it's not trans. Sorry, I take back, I take back what I said. Now I understood it better. Thank you.
we have to remember that our thoughts create an environment. Our thoughts is a very important part of our aura. That is our environment, our personal environment. Any vice that we may have creates a vibration that allows us to be connected with the spirits in the same level of vibration. I don't need to be using drugs per se to be connected to the spirits. But my thoughts, what I like to do, my choices connect me directly with the spirits that have the same choice as mine. And when you said that you look into them and you see them as the same as, yes, to a certain extent, they are exactly the same as those addicted to drugs because they are addicted to something else. So I don't need to be in a bad house to be connected to them. My wishes, my thoughts, what I like to do is sufficient to allow me to be connected with them. Hi, Liz.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, going back with what Camilla was saying, about the negative energies, our thoughts, our illnesses, and what we believe. So many things, even, the position of our bed, everything affects our life force. And that life force, again, is reflected in our etheric body. And this can be proven by science, you can look at the aura through Kirlian photography, and if you're seeing negative thoughts, that reflected on the photography of the aura. So it really is important, as everybody's saying, to always, have elevated thoughts and always, combat fear with knowledge, because only knowledge combats fear. Knowledge protects. So yeah, we were meant to live in joy. We're here to learn. So every one of us gets tripped up every so often. That's part of the lesson. But we need to pick ourselves up quickly and not allow us to hold us down, because it is reflected in our etheric body. It is pure consciousness. It is life force.
Good. Taime, it's on you.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you were talking, Guillermo was reflecting now about the thought, and I was thinking like, where our thoughts are coming from. They might come from maybe, I don't know, childhood, previous life. It's very complicated to maybe changing the environment also influences. So I was just trying to get to the root of how can I change my thoughts, and sometimes it's not that easy, no?
Well, your thoughts come from your spirit. When you elaborate your thoughts, is a sum of many things. Things you like to do, things you think is right, things you would like to do, things that resonate with what you like. Learning how to improve our thoughts is a process. What is depression other than someone that fell into a trap of his or her own thoughts? They are not very positive. And we know that someone that fell into depression does not leave that easily. Needs a lot of support. So I do not expect someone to change their line of thoughts from today to tomorrow. If a person wants to change their line of thoughts, there are some work to be done, some choices to be made, some good experiences to be added into this equation to allow, in a medium long term, the frequency of thoughts to be improved. Let's talk about another characteristics here. Someone that likes to complain about everything. This is a disease per se. But when the person only complain about everything, and I'm pretty sure everybody knows someone like that.
I think you are describing me, not completely, but certain points.
Yes, good. So we are creating a very heavy environment around us. What is this environment? Our own energy, our aura, but we also increase the weight of this environment with those spirits that feel happy to be close to someone like them, or to continue giving incentive to the person to complain even more. This environment becomes denser and denser. And only one person can change that. The person himself or herself. We can help. We can show other things. As example, when we had some people coming to the Spiritist Center, desperate, and okay, let's go to some places with us where we have routine visits, and you see that your problem is not that big. In some countries, you have places where the family that do not want to take care of the old members anymore, they just throw them over there, and it's very, very ugly. There are some places where you are able to pay or are subsidized by the government, that you have a decent quality of life for your last days around the world. But there are also places where it's more like a deposit of old human beings. So come with us to visit, to spend one afternoon in that environment, talking, listening, helping them to clean themselves. You that complains about your own situation all day long, you will be facing something in real life in front of you that may show you that you're not that bad. There are things much worse than you thought it was the end of the world. So that is one of the things that can be done to start to change in that frequency of thoughts. Someone, like we were talking not too long ago, let's say someone that is vibrating war 24/7. If you are vibrating war 24/7, it's because you're not busy enough. Your hands are not producing enough. You're not reading a good book. You're not helping anyone. You're not cleaning your home. You're not doing anything. So let's do one of the good things. And when you're doing good things, unlikely you'll be vibrating or thinking about the war scenario. And then, yes, I only able to do that for 1 hour of my day. The other 23 hours, I'm still vibrating. Yes, starting by 1 hour. Persevere, doing 1 hour a day. And then in a week or 2 weeks from now, you try to increase that 1 hour to 2 hours. The topics, for example, I can bring topics here that I'm pretty sure I'll have people fighting to present what they believe, what they want, what they like. Avoid those topics because you are attracting discussions, unnecessary negative vibrations. So we can choose our environment. And if we are mediums, ostensive mediums, we have a different degree of sensibility, we can feel the change in our environment, even in our physical body. In our physical body, some of those scenarios we are painting here can be felt like a pain in the knee, on the elbow, on my head, and so on. And as you start to changing or using your time for better purpose, you will start to get better. You start to feel that, well, it's not hurting that bad anymore. All right? So, oh dear, 2 hands. Camila.
No, what I would say is like that for me, the way that I see is like oh, it's about the glasses that we use, right? Because the same scenario we can see can have many perspectives about, right? So how much more involved we can be, better glasses we will have because we can see something. We say that, right? We need to say thank you for the problems that we have, the challenges that we have, right? So we need to keep that in mind. And that Jesus also said, uh, pray, orai e vigiai. I don't know how to say that in English. I don't know the statement in English. Sorry, folks.
I forgot as well.
Pay attention, maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe.
praise and pay attention, something. Yeah, maybe.
Pray and be vigilant.
And
Yeah.
be vigilant. Yeah. I think when he said that he's about this, right? Like, because I, I, for example, if you my husband is the one that is attacked sometimes because I believe that he also has some mediumship. And if he doesn't go in the church, right? The church will elevate his thoughts, right? His way to praise, his way to stay with God. So when he doesn't go, I felt the difference. I feel the difference, right? Like how how the vibration goes, how has his reactions, and I see how easily is for the bad actors, let's say, influence more him than when he doesn't go. The same probably happens with me, right? It's only easier sometimes observe the others than ourselves. Uh, but yeah.
Camila, sometimes we speaks about the gospel at home, about using of fluidified water, how important it is to be responsible to be in our mediumship meetings, not allowing any other unnecessary activity to push us aside, is because all of it make part of what we are. All right. How many people decide not to go to the mediumship because they had to go to the supermarket that day, because they had to go to visit someone that day? Because I'm pretty sure in that moment you have opened up yourself for something you may not even know you're doing, because you open up your commitment with good to do something that's not that important. When you decide not to go to your church, in the case of your husband, and I cannot take that too seriously, because he's going to church to escape a little bit from you, Camila. He's going over there to pray, you know. And when he's not going over there to do that, what is he doing? He's breaking a good connection with his faith. Doesn't matter what kind of faith it is. His faith. You know, why people used to go to the Spirit Center once a week? Because when they start to break that thing and they go to in the next 2 weeks or so, they start to feel like something start to miss. The balance at home, we are fighting more, husband and wives, kids and parents. They start to realize that, oh, it's better that I'll go over there to try to get a calm week. You know, because it's true. It's true. Why we say to people to do the gospel at home? Because you're cleaning your environment at home, your home environment. You're cleansing where you are. You're creating barriers to protect, minimize, and avoid spirits that don't want you guys to be okay. In the case of husband and wife, you may have more fights. In case of parents and kids, the kids become more annoying. You know, things. But people think that is just, this is a kind of religion, it's kind of cult, this is nonsense. But if we observe the reactions of what we do and when we don't, you will start to realize that, yes, I may not understand why, or I may don't agree why, but the result is there. I can see the results. I can see the results. I remember that when I was joking with Camila, her husband, and with my wife was the same. You know, we on the beginning we always, hey, don't, please go over there. Don't miss your spot, otherwise you're gonna have problem at home, because we saw that was material, was present. We could see that. You know, I give another example. Some Spirit Center, they go on vacation for the summer, for the holiday season. Many people, when they are not returning, they, after a period of time, they mention to us some series of problems, of complications. I'm not trying to sell anything out, become a spiritist, not at all. I don't do that. Right? I'm not trying to bring more people or making people believe in what I believe. No, I'm talking about observing the results. Right? Everything's calm, the atmosphere is cool. And then if you decide not to do a few things or decide to do other things, the atmosphere will change. You start to have more arguments in the work, in the home. But it's up to you to evaluate around you. But Camila, what you said is totally right. It's totally right. You know, and in your case, for example, your husband, he's not a spiritist, if I understood well. But in your case, you have your activities related to what you do as a medium. When you don't you feel that something is missing or something is not quite right?
I'm tormented. It's worse than that. And he go in the church. I go with him. He brings me.
You're going over there to torment him there? Oh my God.
I go with him. I like to go.
Okay.
It's a pray, all right? You pray. Sometimes always say good things as well. You need to try to understand, like filter some, understand the understandment. So let's put it this way. I don't know, but I like to go as well. I think it's good, and we do the gospel in home now, and we also I start to read the uh hell, the
Can I
selling,
have it?
yeah, hell in heaven, yeah.
Mhm.
But he's not a spirit, right?
You
But
scared me now.
he believes, but not in the same way,
Yeah, that's
not
fine.
there yet.
That is not important
Yeah. No,
what kind of faith you have.
it's important the vibration, right? The God, unless the faith is an obsession, like it's a crazy thing, and you start to be like then it's a sickness as well. But otherwise, it's always good.
Yep. And even like that, I'll take a bit of your comments. And I was in Turkey this week, and there a good part of the population is Muslim. And they have a beautiful routine. I know that because I was living in a Muslim country for years. They pray in the morning, in the lunch, in the evening. And what we see sometimes does not reflect the majority. But imagine millions of people praying. It does create a powerful, good vibration around where they are in the world. Doesn't matter what they believe. They are praying for the existence of Earth. They are praying. That's very positive. That's very powerful. If we had that routine ourselves, it would be helping. So, oh, I have two hands. Now I see. I didn't see that. Taimi, yes, go on. Taimi? So I may be wrong. So there was another hand. Hi, Liz. That's you.
All right. Yeah, I'm wanting to do gospel in the home again. And I've got too many commitments, but because I want to, start it and not keep on missing one, because you know that you're partly helping the spirits by doing it. Could I ask regarding gospel in the home? I find that it's very similar to the studies that we do, when we have our study group. And when I did studies with Janet on a weekly basis, what's the difference between gospel in the home and doing a study? Is it like doing the study in the home where they read the gospel and you discuss, one of the books?
The organization from the spiritual world is a bit different. Okay? When you are in a study like we are here, I can see people not paying attention, people watching their cell phones, people doing anything else, because it's a study. A lot of people does not focus enough when we're doing a study. A presential or a virtual doesn't make a difference, right? When we got together, we organize, we become committed to have a regular routine around the gospel at home. At that moment, it creates a routine. And then the benefactors, if you become a regular, if you become serious about it, can even use your gospel at home to bring spirits to be helped. So it's a bit different. If we see both in a naked eye, yes, look like the same, but it's not. You are dedicating a specific time of your week to the purpose of protecting your home. Is a bit different than having an open study that if you go, yes, if I don't, it's fine as well, Yes, you won't be alone on the studies. Sometimes the benefactors will bring spirits to benefit from this. But the gospel at home, if I may answer that in a single word, is stronger than the study, because you have a different purpose when you do gospel at home.
Thank you so much. It's so important.
I have 4 hands now. I don't know who came first. So
Liz.
Hi, Liz. The other Liz.
Yeah. Hi, guys. I think I have 2 points here. Been listening to all the discussions about what we all been studying this morning. One thing that pops into my head is, like Guilherme said, it's not important your religious affiliation, because religion is like us all supporting one another to strengthening our wish to follow God, isn't it? That's what religion is. Doesn't matter in what. Some groups have different views from another. And what for me is more important is your individual connection. We are all very unique because we are one universe in itself. I cannot know and I cannot do anything for anybody else, and I cannot know what is within anybody else. Even if they tell me thousands of times the same thing, they may think something completely different, or it may be just that they are used to say that. There is so many nuances to us all as individuals. So first of all, we have to nourish this relationship with this supreme force, this, supreme power that governs all the universe and is there for us lovingly. And another thing that comes about with what Liz asked about the gospel at home, for me, that is your unique time to get the gospel and really reflect in what you have done as a person, what you have done, and how can you learn from those lessons there to actively put in practice in your own life. I do my gospel every week, and every week there is a lesson that, if you believe it or not, is something that is highlighted all the way through my week. And I even invite all the spirits that's around here to be with me and, like me, get our efforts together to try to understand. But for me, the gospel at home is that moment when we all come together and think, how can I do better as a human being? It's not only about knowledge. It's not about knowledge, actually. It's about how you can be better yourself through understanding the lessons of the gospel. And it can be from anything that you want. It can be from the Bible itself. Us in Spiritism, we have lots of books that brings Bible verses and have some sort of different understanding and highlighting a lesson that we can have and keep that in mind and carry on in life.
When you say learning, is it also like a public confession, like to the spirits and the benefactors and asking for help in understanding and improving what you do? Do you actually say, oh, well, I could have done that better today, or yesterday I did this, and, do you use that as openly being honest with yourself and with the spirits?
Yes. And when I have my daughter with me, because my family, my husband is not spiritist. Sometimes he's part of it with me. It doesn't mean to be something public. From a spiritual world point of view, we don't have to confess anything because they can see it. They can see more because of our thoughts.
To own it, don't we?
Yeah,
So
it's not. It's you being honest with yourself, let's say, basically, because I do most of all by myself. And I have to be honest with myself. And I talk out loud with me and I'm kind of oh my God, yeah, that is true. I must do more of that. So, for me, that is a special moment in this sense.
Liz, there is no formula per se to the gospel at home. The gospel at home, there has to be something that speaks to you. There's no need to do what you said, but if you feel like that is helping you, why not? That's your moment with them.
Liz, how I do, right? I read I do a pray, then I read the gospel, and we discuss, and then I read another small book that has uh, wisdom minutes, right? It's like a small positive message, right? And then we do the final prayer. I do that with my mother and my sister. I feel one kind of spirituality. I do that with my father and my aunt. It's another feeling atmosphere. I do that with my husband. It's another. So we do the same process. I do the same process with a group of people that is different. My mother and my sister is always late. My aunt, my father not, right? And it changed the spirituality as well. Actually, how I feel, right? Like,
Just to finalize our study today, that was a
Thank
bit away
I
from
do.
the original topic,
It's
but
a minute.
I would like to mention here that when from time to time someone comes to the Spirit Center in some situations that are a bit more complicated, the benefactors themselves, they recommend the family or the person to do the gospel at home more than one time a week. This is not a religious thing. This is a need to clean, to prepare. Things that we don't see and they do, when they recommend, well, in that case, it's better to do more than once a week. It's better to, because every case is a different case. I also do a quick one before we close.
And yes, twice. Only because I do gospel in 30 or 40 when I became a spiritual driver over 30 years ago. And I do always alone because my two husbands, they died. They wasn't spirituals. And I here in Sweden, so I live over 20 years. Uh, Ever 30 years, I did do alone because alone, but I am not alone. I know we are not never alone, and I have many people together. Many I know spirits. Maybe they came and they take spirits to hear the gospel. Why is very important to do at home. So only this one I would like to say here. Doesn't matter we are alone. No.
Very good. Very good. So Pablo is with you now.